I want a new start for me and my son. It's time to start a new chapter.
Love isn't just a word. It's by how you show up. Sometimes things don't go the way you plan.
I'm not the one who's causing all the damage around here.
The only way we're gonna change Chicago is if we do it from the inside.
Feel like we're on the right track. Keep it up.
I came here because my choice was simple: live or die.
My species is dying.
Why are you telling me this?
You are vital to the mission.
Go. Take him. Now.
It's The Last Stand. And here is your host, Brian Custer.
That's right. It is The Last Stand. We bring you the biggest names in the sport. Our guest today is the former unified light welterweight champion of the world. He's the former WBC welterweight champion of the world. He's known as Danny Swift Garcia. Swift, I feel like it's been ages. Welcome back to The Last Stand.
Well, thanks for having me on. I think it's my first time on here, right, Brian? It's my first time or my second time?
Second time. I think we had you right before the Errol Spence fight.
Oh, all right, cool.
It's been too long.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been too long. Listen, right. So July 30th, you're back in the ring. I think what's been almost, a year and a half or something like that away from the – why so long, Danny Garcia?
I just felt like I needed some rest, to be honest. After the Spence fight, I kind of felt like I was a little bit mentally tired and physically tired. I felt like I just needed a time away to miss the sport and come back. And I feel like in this sport, you have to be hungry. If you're not hungry, then you shouldn't be in the sport. So I just needed time away to miss the sport, regain my hunger, and come back strong.
So now you're coming back, but now you're coming back at 154 and taking on Jose Benavidez, not 147. Why the move up in weight?
Well, I feel like, I won a title at 140. I won a title at 147. And my dream and my goal in boxing was to be a 3-division world champion. And I just want to be great, just like all the other great champions, like Cotto, Duran, Shane Mosley, Oscar De La Hoya, all those guys went up. And I feel like, I'm 34 years old now. I don't want to put that strain on my body worrying about losing weight. I want to go in the gym, be able to use my experience, feel good, feel strong. And that's what I've been doing.
Listen, you were accomplished at 140. Hell, you were a unified champ there. You fought nearly everybody at 147. And this is no disrespect at all to Jose Benavidez. But folks are going to say there's so many big names at 154, great fighters at 154. Why not fight one of them in your debut at 154?
Well, that's my goal. My goal is to go fight, the big names. But this is my first fight at 154, so I want to see how my body feels. I want to test my skills at a new weight class, and I feel like this is a great matchup. It's a great fight, a Mexican versus a Puerto Rican at the Barclays Center. He's been around for a while. I believe he was the WBA regular champion when I was the super champion at 140. So we've been in this game a long time. So I know who he is. He knows who I am, and the fans know him. So I feel like it's a great fight.
You were a big puncher at 140, no doubt. I mean, you were clubbing guys. 147 guys said, "Hey, look, Danny Garcia hits hard." Do you think though the power will carry to 154?
Absolutely. I feel like I actually lose power when I lose weight. When I'm in the gym and I'm strong, I'm feeling healthy, and I'm not losing weight, I'm hurting guys in the gym. They feel my power. I'm physically strong. My stamina's better. So I feel like I actually lose weight. I mean, I lose power when I go down in weight.
From a fighting style perspective, will we see a different Danny Garcia at 154?
I definitely want to be smarter. I want to be faster. I want to use my experience. I got a lot of experience. I've been in a lot of fights, a lot of championship fights. So now I just feel like I'm the complete package. I got to go in there and just use all my tools. Sometimes I feel like I don't use all my tools. This time, I feel like I'm well rested. My brain is sharp, and I just want to go in there and use everything I got, all my tools, all my tricks.
And I know people always say this too, like, man, if Danny, the work rate, if he would throw more, will we see Danny Garcia throwing more at 154?
Well, definitely, you know, that's I definitely want to use my jab more. I feel like if I use my jab a little bit more, that'll help my punch count. Because I throw a lot of power punches. I just gotta use my jab a little more, and I feel like that'll up my punch rate about 10 to 15 punches around. Like, you know, if I'm 30, 40, I'll be throwing 60 punches around or 70. You know what I mean? So I think it's just the small things that'll help my punch count. But like even in my last fight when I fought Spence, you know, people say, yo, Danny really didn't let his hands go. When I checked the punch stats, it said I threw 700 punches. That was my career high. So I was like, you know, how much punches they want me to throw? But, you know, it is what it is. It's all good.
Jose Benavidez talked to the media about this fight, and he said, quote, "This is a Mexico versus Puerto Rico matchup. Both of us have something to prove. It's going to be a great fight for the fans. I feel strong. I know I will end this one on fight night with a knockout. I'm bigger and stronger than he is, and come July 30th, he's going to see the difference in the power between us," end quote. What's your response to that?
Nah, I have to disagree with that. He's not stronger or bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? So I have to completely disagree with that. I feel like I'm the stronger man. I hit harder. I don't know how much KOs he has, but I know I got a lot of KOs. I knocked higher, better opponents out, champions out. And, you know, they all say the same thing. They all say they're strong. They all say they're fast. They all say this and that. But when they're in there with me, it's a completely different story.
Listen, we had Tony Harrison on the show. And first of all, let me just say this. He said he loves Danny Garcia. He says, I absolutely love him, and I would love to be in to share the ring with him. He says he's fiending to get in the ring with you at 154. But I'm curious, who's on Danny Garcia's 154 hit list, though?
Well, you know, like I said, I like to fight all the champions, even like Tony Harrison. It'll be a great fight for me. You know, he's been around for a while. He's a former champion, so I feel like he earned his stripes, and you know that would be a great fight in the future. Anybody at 154. Lara's called me out. I heard him call me out, so I think he has a belt at middleweight, so we can do that fight. Or any of the champions. Well, there's only one champion, right? Charlo. So if so whoever. My dream is to be a 3-division champion. So in order to be a champion, you got to fight and beat the best. So there's really no secret to it.
You are right. There is only one champ at 154, let's be honest, and that is Jermell Charlo. He's the undisputed champion. How would you see, I mean, you know, because Mel's been there a while, how would you see a Charlo-Danny Garcia fight playing out?
I think that's a big fight. You know, respect to him though. You know, I saw him and his brother coming up. We were signing Golden Boy. I remember seeing him in the back of the locker room. We're all fighting on the undercards and making our way to the top. So I have nothing but respect for those guys. They earned it. So, but I feel like, you know, that's definitely a big fight. I feel like any fight with Danny Garcia is a big fight. So it's just all about making the fights happen.
Listen, you are one of the few fighters who has done extremely well outside of the ring. That's why I really admire some of the things that you've done. I mean, not only, look, you got the clothing line, you've got businesses, you've got real estate. It's let's be honest, Danny Garcia doesn't have to fight anymore if he doesn't want to. I guess the question is Danny Garcia still a hungry fighter?
Definitely. Like I said, during this break in my boxing career, you know, since the Spence fight, like I felt like I was tired. I was mentally tired. I felt like I didn't feel like I had the energy, you know, to do it. And one day I just woke up and I realized, like, I'm a fighter. This is what I do. This is what I love to do. I was born to fight. You know, it just dawned on me. It's like, you know, like Warren Buffett, he does stocks. He's 90 years old. That's what he does. You know, Trump does real estate or whatever. So I'm a fighter. This is what I do, and this is what I love to do. And I've been boxing for 24 years. This is all I know. It's what I love to do. I love to compete, and there's no greater feeling than winning a big fight or a championship fight.
And listen, I love hearing that, because the naysayers, they're going to say, "Oh my gosh, Danny Garcia's back. He's just using this, or he's coming back just to fund his businesses and things of that nature." It sounds like to me like, no, I got I missed it.
Yeah,
I missed the sport.
Yeah,
I missed the competition.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a fighter, and in this sport, you just can't fight for checks, because that's how you get hurt. You have to come. There's hungry lions out there. There's people who want what you want. Jose Benavidez, he wants what I want. And this is not the sport where you come just fight for money, because that's how you get hurt. My goal is always to be the best and fight the best and win. And like I said before, I'm a fighter. This is what I do, and this is what I love to do. And that's why I'm fighting in the ring. Because like you said, we don't have to fight no more if we don't want to, but I do it because I love it. And this is what I was born to do.
You talked about the Spence fight, and I heard a lot of this chatter after the Spence fight. Guys would say, especially guys in the sport, they would say, listen, Danny Garcia's father has done a wonderful job with him, but I believe for him to go at another level, he needs maybe a more experienced trainer added to his team. What do you say to that?
Everyone's always going to say what they want to say, but when we were winning all the world titles, he was trainer of the year and everything. And then, as soon as you lose a fight, people say, oh, you need a new trainer. It's just like Canelo. He lost his last fight. He has 2 losses. He has 2 draws. What's the next thing they're going to say about him? He needs a new trainer too? So I feel like, boxing is really not about who's the best. It's about who you got the most chemistry with. It's who you can build with, who you can trust. Boxing is about trust. It's not really about a trainer, because if there's no chemistry, it's not going to work. Even if you do get a better trainer, if the chemistry is not there, then it's you probably have a worse result. So I just feel like believe who you start with is who you finish with, and that's who you build with, and you just learn together. Because you never stop learning. In boxing, you never stop learning. You know what I mean? So we just continue to keep learning every day.
You mentioned the Errol Spence. It has been basically a year and a half since we seen you in that fight. Errol was coming off the car accident, and I remember when we had talked before that, you said, "Man, I'm catching this guy right at the right time." When you look back on that fight and you looked at the video, what happened that night? What do you think happened that night?
It was just, I don't know. I felt good. I felt good going into the fight. I felt like I had a great training camp. But, he's a great fighter. Everything looks easy from the outside. But I felt it was a great competitive fight, to be honest. We, on the punch stats, we both landed the same amount of power punches. And like I said, the difference in the fight was just the jabs, and that was it. But other than that, I felt like it was a great competitive fight and back and forth action, and it happened with 2 champions going at it, and the result was the result.
What do you think about him not only coming back from that accident, fighting you, and then going right to Ugas, in the way he's looked since the accident?
No, he's looking good. He's a good fighter. He's a great fighter. So, what he did to Ugas, that was crazy, because he kind of punished him. I didn't think he was going to do that like that. He basically beat him down every round, and that's just to show you, he's a great champion. You can't take nothing away from him.
Listen, your perspective on this is great, and I can't wait to hear your perspective on this, because you've been in the ring with Errol. Now, he's agreed to fight Bud Crawford. That looks like it's going to go down in October. You fought and beat Bud Crawford, if I'm not mistaken, twice in the amateurs. How do you think that fight's going to play out?
Yeah, we fought twice in the amateurs, but it was 1-1. I felt like I won both. Okay. I felt like I won both, but it was 1-1.
There you go. Yeah. But said correctly, 1-1. Yeah. So how do you see that fight between Errol Spence and Bud Crawford playing out?
That's a great matchup. Like I said before, I feel like Spence is the bigger welterweight. He's the bigger, stronger guy. He throws a lot of punches. He's stronger. He's physically stronger. And then I feel like Crawford's I would say he was probably the more talented guy, probably more skill. And it's going to be interesting to see how Spence fights another southpaw like him. You know, I feel like Spence is one of his big advantages is him being the big guy, being southpaw with a big jab. So he's never fought a southpaw, you know, the skill level like Crawford, even though he's right-handed, but for most of his fights he fought southpaw. So I just feel like this fight's going to come down to whoever wakes up or whoever feels better on that day. And whoever believes in himself more that day, that's who's going to win, because both guys are mentally strong, both guys are skilled, and I feel like whoever wants it more and feels better that day is going to win it.
Yeah, and I think we'll probably find out which one of those guys have got a hell of a chin, because they both can throw some serious leather, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like Spencer's strong. He's a strong puncher, but Crawford throws the shorter punches. So it's going to be interesting because, you know, Spencer's busy, and then Crawford's probably going to be picking his spots and trying to get in his rhythm. I can see it. It depends who gets off on the better, you know, ahead. If Crawford gets ahead, starts controlling the fight with his jab and backing Crawford up, then I can see Spence winning. But if Spence goes in there, if Crawford goes in there and finds a rhythm, then it might be you know, a W for Crawford.
If you can, give me what's the difference between Danny Garcia at 140, Danny Garcia at 147, and now the difference between Danny Garcia at 154 compared to Danny Garcia at 147?
Well, I'm gonna say there's no difference, but you know, 140 Danny Garcia, you know, he was young. He was relentless. He wasn't scared to bleed. 147, the same thing, you know, just I never been afraid to be great. You know, I never been afraid to fight the best fights because I always felt like I was the best anyway. So I never felt like it was a risk for me because I knew I belonged there. So at 147 it's the same thing, you know, big heart, determination, great fighter. And 154 is just, you know, all the experience I've been through in my life at 140 and 147, all the championship, all the great fighters. Now this is more of a seasoned Danny Garcia. You know, this is more of a smart Danny Garcia, beating fighters with my brain, you know, instead of, you know, fighting with anger and stuff like that. So it's still going to be that relentless Danny Garcia, but it's going to be a lot. I want to beat my fighters in fashion now.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Brian Custer, and our new podcast partner is Athletic Greens. You know, I started taking Athletic Greens because I wanted more energy, and I got to say, I really love it. Athletic Greens, it doesn't taste like it's super healthy. It has that really mild kind of tropical taste, and I'm telling you, you're going to like it. So what is Athletic Greens? But I'm going to tell you one delicious scoop of AG1, and you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help start your day right. And it contains less than 1 gram of sugar. There are no GMOs and no nasty chemicals or artificial anything at all, while still tasting good. And it supports better sleep quality, recovery time, and also supports your mental clarity and alertness. AG1 is a small micro habit of big benefits, and it's the one thing you can do every single day to take care of yourself. And it's lifestyle friendly. So whether you eat keto, paleo, you're vegan, you're dairy free, or gluten free, and it costs you less than $3 a day. And additionally, for every purchase, AG1 is donating to organizations to help get nutritious foods to kids in need. In fact, No Kid Hungry here in the U.S., well, in 2020, Athletic Greens donated $1.2 million to kids. Now, look, we're going to make this thing simple because Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you've got to do is go to athleticgreens.com/laststand. Again, athleticgreens.com/laststand. Take ownership of your health and get yourself Athletic Greens. You've had when you look at your record, and obviously you had tremendous highs, when you look at the losses, some of them have been so razor thin. Yeah. Is there one fight, when you look back on your career, you said, man, if I had one do-over, it would be that fight right there?
You know, I like you said, the Thurman and Porter fight, those are extremely close fights. You know, like 1 round difference and the fight is mine, both of them. So, you know, I really don't have no regrets in my career because, you know, everything happens for a reason. And that's everything you go through in your life is what makes you a great champion, is what builds your character and shows you who you are outside of the ring. You know, so I love the process. I love everything about my career, and I wouldn't change nothing.
Lastly, one of the things that we always like to ask guys now is can you go back to any fight that you had and you laugh about it now and you say, man, if fans knew what really happened either before the fight, leading up to the fight, or whatever, boy, can you give us some insight into something that happened at one of your big fights that fans knew nothing about that we can laugh about?
Oh, man, that's a good question. Man. You mean like inside of the ring or like outside of the ring, or?
It could be anything. I'll tell you what, like I'll give you an example. Oscar De La Hoya we had on, and Oscar De La Hoya said, I guess when he was fighting Sugar Shane Mosley, he said after the weigh-in, he said they went to some Mexican restaurant, his boys, and he said, I ate some clams, and he said, bruh, them things messed me up so bad. He said, going into the fight, my stomach was so jacked up, and I knew the fight was big. I couldn't do anything about it.
Right.
And he said, man, he hit me with a couple of body shots, and he said, needless to say, he said he threw them shorts away after that fight.
Crazy.
So that was the one that he thought about.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Anything crazy that happened.
Something like that before. I was juicing, like, you know, to mix the juices, like the blender. So I was doing that the whole entire camp. And then I was fighting Guerrero. And then when I got to LA, there were no juicing bars. So I went back to like drinking regular juices and stuff. And the day of the fight, I was throwing up all day. I was throwing up. I didn't eat all day the day of the Guerrero fight. I didn't gain no weight. I think I went into the ring like 148 pounds. So I was actually sick before that fight, because my body was going through a withdrawal because it was so used to the vitamins and everything. And then when I couldn't get the right nutrition, I was just throwing up all day. So that was one of those fights where I was sick and I still fought, and I actually did good.
Yeah, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. You did, because Guerrero, and that was in the early stages of the PBC
exactly.
too. That
1 year in.
Yeah, when it
was 2016.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Danny, for everybody who watches the show, we let them submit questions through social media. We got a lot of them for you, but we'll just get to a few here. This first one comes from Kilo from Twitter. He says, listen, I don't have a question. Just let Danny know I rock with him. I'm a huge fan. Been following his career since 140. Always fought the best, and I just can't wait to see you fight. That's from Kilo.
Thanks.
Nellius says, what will you bring to 154 that we haven't seen before?
Like I said before, you're going to see a seasoned Danny Garcia, a lot of skill, a lot of will, and a lot of power. I want to knock more people out at 154. I want to show people that how really strong and big I am. That's what I really want to do. Like July 30th, I want to knock Jose Benavidez out.
Man, I like it. Jerrell Hill from Twitter asks, would you ever consider changing trainers or bring on an additional experienced trainer to work with your father?
You know, that's up to Angel, whatever he wants to do. I'm open to do whatever Angel wants to do. So if he says no, hell with it. If he says yeah. So, you know, I let my pop be the boss when it comes to that.
Renee from Twitter says, has the money and success diminished or lessened your passion or hunger in the sport?
Not at all. Not at all. Like I said before, this is my 40th professional fight coming up. And, I did feel a little mentally tired, you know, of training and, you know, fighting at this level for a while because there is a lot of pressure. But like I said before, I feel great again, and my passion for the sport has never changed.
Mr. Mello asks, what future bouts do you see yourself going after, and how long do you plan to stay at this weight?
Well, at first, I gotta get Benavidez is the only thing on my mind right now, to be honest. It's a big fight for me, believe it or not, because this determines a lot for my career. So I have to make a statement at this new weight class against Benavidez. He's hungry. So I got to go in there and dominate him, and then we could talk about future opponents or weight classes.
Mm-hmm. How much longer do you see yourself fighting, Danny?
I don't know. I want to take it one fight at a time. That's my mindset. One fight at a time. And when my body says, look, you can't compete, you can't keep up with these guys no more, then that's when I'll stop. But right now I feel great.
Alex asks, how many more fights for you, Danny Garcia, and are you bringing Boots into camp? And this is a triple question. It says, how many more fights, Danny? Are you bringing Boots into your camp? And will you KO Benavidez?
Yeah, I definitely want to KO Benavidez. And Boots is my guy, man. Boots is, is the future of boxing, to be honest. Most talented boxers in the sport right now. And right now, for him, it's all about time. And so I'm happy to see what he's going to do. And he's going to carry Philadelphia in for a long time. So, Boots is doing his own thing. And, I'm doing my own thing. So, but he's definitely a great young fighter, and he's going to be around for a long time.
You know what? And it's interesting because what kind of advice have you given him? Because so many of us, and I say us, boxing fans, want to see him in those big fights. But this, boxing is a business. And all of these guys at the top, it's like, why would I fight this young, hungry lion right now?
Right.
Especially when you've got, Spence and Crawford. They're worried about each other becoming undisputed. And then you have Thurman, who was like, well, why should I fight this young, hungry lion? I want the title, guys. What kind of advice do you give a guy like Jaron Boots Ennis, who wants to be in the mix?
What I told him, I seen him at the fights in Philly. I just told him right now, for him, it's just about timing, just waiting for your time. And when your time comes, take advantage of it. And I feel like it's soon, let these guys handle their business. This is a fight. When I say these guys, Crawford and Spence, this is a fight that's been built up for a long time. A lot of fans want to see that fight. After that fight, there will be one welterweight champion, and those guys are going to move up. Business will be finished for those guys, and 147 will be wide open. So we're looking at one or two fights where all he has to do is wait 1 or 2 fights, and then the division is his. And then all he has to do is go in there and win.
Good advice. Great advice. Okay, Danny Garcia, we come to the last segment of the show. It is the last stand. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. Just give me the first thing comes to your mind. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Now that you're gone, in your opinion, who is the biggest puncher in the welterweight division?
That's a good question. I would say that's a good question because they all got kind of like the same power, to be honest with you. They all kind of like, they don't really have one punch knockout power. Thurman kind of has one punch knockout power, but he never really did it at a high level at 147. So I would say most of those guys got the same type of power. Yeah, so I really can't say. They all kind of have the same type of power where they got to hit you with a couple shots or break you down to knock you out.
Boots Ennis, we had him on the show. He told us he believes he's ready and would beat both Errol Spence Jr. and Bud Crawford right now. You know him. What do you think?
No, he's definitely ready, and he definitely has the tools to do it. I believe in him.
How about that? Give me the one fighter that Danny Garcia has always had in the back of his mind that, like, man, I would really like to get in the ring with this cat. But for whatever reason, it never has panned out.
I always wanted to fight. I thought me and Mikey Garcia would have been a great fight. I think that would have been me and Mikey would have been a great fight. I think that's a fight that never happened. There would have been a great fight.
Yeah, I think a lot of us talked about that. The Fighting Garcias. Which one was the better Fighting
Right.
Garcia? Yeah, you're right about that. Listen, we know how much you love Philly, and you're a Philly guy. Give me the Mount Rushmore then of Philly rappers.
Philly rappers? Sheesh,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
I mean, you're a music guy too.
There's too many good rappers in Philly, and I don't want them to get mad at me if I don't say their name. You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna say every Philly rapper, the greatest rapper.
Listen to you. Oh boy, Liverpool, you skated through that one. Okay, last but not least, Danny Garcia. Cool boy Steph, Stephen Fulton Jr., one of
That's
my favorites.
guy.
Listen, he's the only world champion right now repping Philly. In your opinion, who will be the next world champion out of Philly? Will it be Jaron Boots Ennis or Danny Garcia?
You know, I feel like we'll both be champions, to be honest with you. I feel like we'll both do it. I feel like we're both on the path, you know, to being world champions. And I feel like it would be great if Philadelphia had 3 world champions, you know? And that'll be the icing on the cake, because Philly is a fighting city, and it's like we're known for fighters. So if we had 3 world champions, that'll be great. I think the last time we had 2 world champions, it was me and Bernard. Me and Bernard were champions at the same time.
You're right.
Yep. So
you're right.
You know, it would be great.
Listen, you know, I say this and I mean it. The sport of boxing is always really good when Danny Garcia is in the mix and thriving, man. You are a great guy outside of the ring, inside of the ring. You know how much I love you. So it's great to see you back. I can't wait to see you July 30th on Showtime Championship Boxing.
Thanks, man. I can't wait either. I'm excited. I'm about to go to the gym right now, beat up on some of these young guys, so I'll be all right.
I love it. I love to hear that, man.
Sure.
Hey, listen, that's what we do here on The Last Stand. We deliver the biggest names in the sport, and Danny Garcia is one of them, and he's coming back. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you again next week.
I want a new start for me and my son. It's time to start a new chapter.
Love isn't just a word. It's by how you show up.
Sometimes things don't go the way you plan.
I'm not the one who's causing all the damage around here.
The only way we're gonna change Chicago is if we do it from the inside.
Feel like we're on the right track. Keep it up.
I came here because my choice was simple: live or die.
My species is dying.
Why are you telling me this?
You are vital to the mission.
Go. Take him. Now.